Salam Malaysia Madani and good evening. I'm Brendan Lepal and you're watching news at 10. Making the headlines tonight. Food security and SME enhancement among priority in budget 2023. And also, no plan to declare flood emergency. Malaysia will immediately issue 1 million copies of the Quran to be distributed around the world as a response to the burning of the Holy Book in Sweden. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said Malaysia condemns in the strongest terms the recent acts of extremist right-wing Swedish-Danish politician Rasmus Paludan and added that the move by Yayasan Restu to distribute copies of the Quran globally would be the most beneficial way to respond to the impudent and brazen act committed against the Holy Book.
Saya setuju supaya cara paling berfaedah menjawab semua kerja-kerja gila dan biadab ini adalah untuk meneruskan usaha yang telah dimulakan dan kita bertekad insya-Allah dalam masa singkat mengikut peringkat untuk mencetak dan mengedar 1 juta Quran ke seluruh dunia.
He added it will be followed up with several programs towards the appreciation and understanding of the Quran with a clear message. The Prime Minister said this when met by reporters after attending the Restu Global Quranic Arts Festival in Putrajaya today. Yayasan Restu is well known for the production of Quran manuscripts and Quran-related publications with exclusive designs. Datuk Seri Anwar said other Muslim nations will also be consulted in the effort to distribute copies of the Quran globally. Rasmus Paludan, leader of Danish far-right party Stram Kurs hardline, was permitted to burn the Quran on 21st January outside the Turkish embassy in Stockholm, angering Muslims worldwide. Clearer and fresh government policies that can accelerate the economic growth for all must be introduced. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the unity government under his helm will look into the matter in light of the challenging economic situation this year.
Melihat kepada kedudukan semasa pasca Covid, kemelesatan ekonomi di Eropah, kesan perang Ukraine-Rusia yang menuntut kita untuk lebih berani memperkenalkan dasar-dasar yang boleh memberi manfaat kepada semua.
Datuk Seri Anwar added that he remains committed in implementing institutional reforms to improve governance efficiency and at the same time tackling the issue of corruption. The Prime Minister said these are among the key factors to ensure the success of every policy introduced. In other development, Datuk Seri Anwar informed that Budget 2023 that will be tabled at the Dewan Rakyat this 24th February will include the food security issue as well as efforts to strengthen small and medium enterprises, SMEs.
Import makanan terlalu tinggi. Jadi ini hal-hal yang kita akan berikan tumpuan dalam belanjawan dan saya dengan pasukan di Kementerian Kewangan telah teliti memorandum daripada ACC CIM. Ini memorandum yang cukup tebal, banyak isu yang dibangkitkan, tapi membantu kita sebenarnya. Dalam dialog yang saya adakan baru-baru ini sebenarnya kita ambil kira beberapa pandangan itu.
He added that there is also an urgent need to empower the small and medium industries, SMEs, to allow them to open up more job opportunities. Datuk Seri Anwar said this during the Chinese New Year open house celebration Organised by the Associated Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry of Malaysia, ACCCIM, today. Present at the event were the Prime Minister's wife, Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail, several ministers, deputies, ambassadors, ACCCIM office bearers, as well as corporate and organisation leaders. The federal government has agreed to give an allocation to the Sarawak Police Contingent Headquarters to improve police facilities in the state through the Deputy Prime Minister's funds. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Fadilah Yusof said the allocation will also include dilapidated police stations in rural areas. Without disclosing the total amount of the allocation, Datuk Sri Fadilah said 9 police stations and living quarters around Kuching alone require an allocation of about 500,000 ringgit. He also said it is the government's responsibility to provide and improve the existing basic infrastructure for all.
Dan ini juga saya kira apa yang ditumpukan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri supaya kita memberi keadilan dan yang terbaik kepada semua lapisan masyarakat kita, apatah lagi anggota keselamatan yang berkhidmat begitu baik dan menjaga keselamatan dan kesejahteraan negara kita.
He said this after visiting the Sarawak Police Contingent Headquarters today. He added that information from the briefing given by Sarawak Police Commissioner Datuk Muhammad Azman Ahmad earlier would also be shared with the relevant authorities at the federal level. Several dilapidated police stations in need of major upgrades had also been identified, namely in Matu Daro, Julau and Song. The government has no intention of declaring a flood emergency for now, according to Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi. Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid, who is the Central Disaster Management Committee Chairman, said this was because only several states and certain districts were currently affected by floods. He said the State Disaster Management Committees, JPBN, have taken proactive measures together with the District Disaster Management Committees on the matter. An allocation of 10.5 million ringgit has been approved to build 3 water pumps and a pump house for water supply in the Mersing district in anticipation of the flood season.
Saya akan bincang dengan Datuk SS, DO dan juga jurutera kanan daerah, dan bila diluluskan immediately dengan segera, maka sebut harga ataupun tender secara selektif akan dilakukan, dan saya harapkan bahawa pihak kerajaan negeri dan pentadbiran daerah dapat menyegerakan kelulusan peruntukan yang telah saya umumkan tadi.
He said this in a media conference after visiting the Mersing Polytechnic Temporary Relief Centre today. Also present were Johor Menteri Besar Dato' On Hafiz Ghazi and Johor State Secretary Tan Sri Dr. Azmi Rohani. The Home Ministry will waive any charges to replace identification documents such as MyCard and birth certificates that are damaged or lost in the floods. Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said the National Registration Department, JPM, had been instructed to assist in the matter once the flood situation improved. The victims will have to lodge a police report and renew the documents without having to pay for the fines usually imposed for the loss of MyCard.
Ini akan kita gerakkan melalui mobile unit kita dalam inisiatif yang kita panggil MEKAR, MEKAR. Kalau tak cukup di Johor, saya akan kerahkan daripada aset daripada Ibu Pejabat. Ini juga satu lagi komitmen Kementerian Dalam Negeri untuk memudahkan rakyat.
He said this during his working visit to the Kahang police station in Kluang today. Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution was also given a briefing on the flood situation in Kluang, which is one of the districts in Johor affected by the disaster. Upgrading facilities at relief centres and providing ready-to-eat retort packaged meals will be among the government's focus in efforts to better manage flood victims. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Sabah Sarawak Affairs and Special Functions, Dato' Armizan Muhammad Ali said currently most centres were set up at public halls and schools, which have their own constraints. He said that the government would constantly improve facilities, especially toilets and bathrooms at those centres.
Tinjauan ini bertujuan untuk kita melihat bagaimana pelaksanaan operasi pengurusan bencana di peringkat daerah dan apa bentuk penambahbaikan yang boleh kita laksanakan. Namun apabila bukan kawasan sekolah, wujudnya isu-isu tertentu, prasarana di balai-balai raya contohnya, tandas-tandas yang tidak mencukupi dan sebagainya. Jadi ini antara perkara yang perlu kita lihat.
He said this to reporters after visiting a relief centre at Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Tandek in Kota Marudu today. Dato' Armizan said the government has started providing ready-to-eat retort-packed meals to flood victims in Sabah during the current northeast monsoon season. Meanwhile, he said preparations had been made by all agencies involved to face the current monsoon surge, which is concentrated in the East Coast states and Sabah and expected to last until the 4th of February. The Ministry of Local Government Development, KPKT, will scrutinise every sick and abandoned housing project nationwide to ensure the welfare and rights of buyers are protected. Its Minister, Ngako Meng, said KPKT has established a special team led by his deputy, Akmal Nasrullah Muhammad Nasir, to scrutinise and monitor over 500 sick or abandoned housing projects in the country.
Pasukan khas tersebut, Special Task Force, telah pun menubuhkan war room untuk monitor projek-projek sakit dan terbengkalai, dan kami akan mengambil langkah-langkah dan inisiatif untuk memastikan projek-projek yang sakit itu kita akan cuba nak selamatkan untuk memastikan kebajikan dan hak-hak pembeli rumah dijamin dan dijaga.
Nga also said the ministry has detected as many as 550 sick and abandoned projects in the country thus far. He was met at a press conference of the handover of keys of Kapayang Ipoh Residency units in Ipoh, Perak. The minister said the Kapayang Ipoh Residency, which consists of 252 apartment units, is one of the sick projects that has been successfully revived and completed. The residency is equipped with facilities such as a multi-purpose hall, kindergarten, surau, nursery and playground. The Ministry of Youth and Sports, KBS, is organising Skills for Life program to equip youth group with extra skill sets. Its Minister, Hannah Yoset, 22 basic skills courses were offered starting next weekend until March this year. Among the courses offered are electrical maintenance, automobile service, barber, traditional delicacy preparation and photography through mobile phones.
Next step adalah untuk kita bagi skill juga untuk menguasai bahasa. So kita nak juga mereka buat weekend courses untuk kelas bahasa English, bahasa Melayu, bahasa Mandarin dan bahasa Tamil supaya belia ini bila dia nak pergi interview untuk dapatkan pekerjaan ataupun untuk promotion, dia dapat skill baru. Okey, jadi untuk minat kita bukan sahaja kursus-kursus khas tapi kursus hujung minggu bagi belia yang telah mempunyai kerja to upgrade.
Information regarding the program will be posted to KBS official Facebook account and it will be available for individuals aged 40 years old and below, especially those from the B40 and M40 group, as well as at-risk and minority youth. The charge fee for each courses is between 10 ringgit and 30 ringgit. That will include tools and training kits. Hannah also said courses that are well received will be held more frequently in the future. She was met at the launching of 2023 Skills for Life program in Putrajaya. Also present at the event was her deputy Adam Adli Abdul Halim. Still to come, targeted subsidy to ensure economy remains stable. Stay tuned. Several measures need to be taken to ensure the country's economy remains stable. Economic Minister Ramli said one of its targeted subsidy mechanism which prevents leakages of resources and distribute it to the targeted group.
What started as a small subsidy is now, if you are not careful and if you don't do something about it, will easily take up between 30 to 40% of our operating budget every year. Unless we do something about it, our fiscal position will become thinner, and that will take away the country's ability to allocate resources, especially on investments or capital or development expenditure that can redirect and refocus this economy towards those sectors that we have to be.
Besides fiscal consolidation, Rafizi said another challenge for the country is to broaden its revenue base. The third challenge is restructuring the economy, which means moving from a low-wage-based, manufacturing-driven economy to one that is service-based with high-tech and value content. He said this during the Parliament Lecture Series 1.0, Resetting the Malaysian Economy in Kuala Lumpur. The Ministry of Transport MOC is still waiting for a report from experts and engineers regarding the light rail transit service LRT line near the Bandaraya station that suffered structural damage yesterday. Its Minister Anthony Loksiew Fook said the report will provide an overview of the extent to which the damage to the structure affects safety. Asked about the expected resumption of the Ampang LRT line, Lok, however, could not give a definite answer. He added affected users are advised to plan their journeys on Monday.
Saya tak dapat memberikan jaminan sekarang. Sudah tentu apabila laporan mereka telah diberikan, kita akan membuat keputusan untuk bagaimana kita mitigate dan membuat pengumuman yang lebih lanjut mungkin dalam sehari dua lagi. Sementara ini kita memberikan ruang kepada jurutera-jurutera untuk melihat kekuatan struktur tersebut.
Yesterday, the LRT service on the Ampang route was reported to be delayed due to a kinked track alignment near the Bandaraya LRT station, in addition to structural damage to the flyover in the area believed to be due to construction works nearby. Yongping could help solve the country's egg shortage woes, according to Ayer Hitam MP Datuk Sri Dr. B. Kasyong. The MCA president said there were about 2,000 chicken farms nationwide and more than 100 are located in Yongping, which is also a popular egg production area for the domestic market and Singapore. Datuk Sri Dr. Wee reiterated that local egg farmers should be prioritised to supply eggs to the domestic market rather than importing the staple item from India.
Saya tak menyarankan kadar itu naik sebab kita ada komponen subsidi walaupun telur sekarang ada subsidi. Tapi kalau kaedah itu sudah tak kena, float saja 50%. Kalau harga daripada India 5%. Teruskan 5%. That's it. Tak ada masalah sangat.
He said this when met by reporters at the Johor-level Chinese New Year celebration in Yongping today. Datuk Sri Dr. Wee was recently quoted in the media saying that Malaysian egg producers should be paid 50 cents an egg instead of importing eggs from India at the same price. Two killed in India fighter jets crash. That and more coming up in the foreign segment. Two Indian Air Force fighter jets crashed today, killing one pilot and injuring two others in an apparent mid-air collision while on exercises south of the capital, New Delhi. The crash is the latest in a string of military aircraft accidents at a time when the government is trying to modernize its armed forces and meet India's complex security challenges. The crash involved a Russian-made Sukhoi Su-30 carrying two pilots and a French-built Mirage 2000, operated by a third. It was reported by witnesses to police at around 10 a.m. local time. Both aircraft took off from the Gwalior Air Base around 50 kilometers east of where they came down. The aircraft were on routine operational flying training mission, the country's Air Force said in a statement, adding that one of the three pilots was fatally injured. It said an investigation was underway to determine the cause of the crash. The first plane hit the ground in the forests of Padgar in central Madhya Pradesh state, around 300 kilometers south of New Delhi. The second jet crashed some distance away in Rajasthan state, and images from local rescue authorities showed military officials inspecting mechanical wreckage strewn across the ground. The U.S. city of Memphis on Friday released distressing footage of the fatal police beating of a 29-year-old black man seen calling for his mother as the blows rained down in an assault that has sparked calls for protests and fears of possible unrest. Please note that some shots contain disturbing images that some viewers may find upsetting. 5 Memphis officers, also all black, were charged with second-degree murder in the beating of Tyree Nichols, who died in hospital on 10 January, 3 days after being stopped on suspicion of reckless driving. The lengthy video footage from police bodycams and a street surveillance camera shows a group of officers detaining Nichols, attempting to take him down with the use of a taser, then giving chase as he evades them. U.S. President Joe Biden declared himself outraged and deeply pained by the footage, saying it will leave people justifiably outraged. The young man's death also drew immediate comparisons with the May 2020 killing of George Floyd, another black man whose suffocation by a white police officer in Minneapolis was likewise caught on video. Peru's Congress rejected a request by embattled President Dina Boluarte to bring forward elections to December 2023 as protests that have killed dozens rage on against her leadership. The South American country has been embroiled in a political crisis with near daily protests since 7 December when former President Pedro Castillo was arrested after attempting to dissolve Congress and rule by decree. Demanding that Boluarte resign and call fresh elections. Castillo supporters have erected roadblocks on highways, causing shortages of food, fuel and other basic supplies. The government said it will soon deploy police and soldiers to clear the roadblocks. Lawmakers already agreed last month to bring forward elections from 2026 to April 2024. In the face of relentless protests, Boluarte on Friday urged Congress to call the vote for December, describing the political crisis as a, quote, quagmire. But in a plenary session held during Saturday's early hours, Congress rejected the proposal with 45 votes in favour, 65 against, and 2 abstentions. Leftist parties had demanded that the advancement of elections be accompanied by a constitutional convention, something protesters have repeatedly called for. Next in sports, Muhammad Azim Fahmi breaks national sprint record. Stay with us. Sensational sprinter Muhammad Azim Fahmi has got off to a good start in the United States, breaking the national record in the men's 60 meters indoor sprint event at the 2023 Texas Tech Open meet early this morning. The 18-year-old, making his indoor debut for Auburn University, clocked 6.63 seconds in the semi-finals to finish third, breaking a nearly 24-year-old national record. The national record was previously held by 1998 Asian Championship silver medalist Watson Yambek, who clocked 6.66 seconds at the 1999 World Championships in Maebashi, Japan. Muhammad Azim then showed consistency in the final with a run of 6.65 seconds to take second place, while Mika Williams, representing the University of Oregon, and Rodney Heath Jr. from Louisiana Tech University finished first and third respectively. Earlier in the heats, Muhammad Azim recorded 6.72 seconds to occupy the fifth fastest position. Muhammad Azim, who is also the national record holder in the 100-meter sprint with a time of 10.09 seconds, arrived at Auburn University in Alabama on 4th January to further his studies while undergoing training there.
The national hockey squad ends their 2023 Hockey World Cup with a 13th placing in the tournament. This after Shallow Silverios notched a brace to inspire Malaysia to a 3-2 win over Japan at the Birsa Munda Stadium in Rourkela, India today.
The Sabahans' goals through a penalty corner in the 7th minute and a field goal in the 32nd minute, and Shahmi Irfan Suhaimi's field goal in the 33rd minute, ensured the Speedy Tigers and their World Cup campaign this time 2 spots better than the 15th placing they earned in the 2018 edition. Also in India. Japan, meanwhile, scored through 2 field goals by Kaito Tanaka and Seren Tanaka. Malaysia began their Group C campaign with a 4-0 loss to 3-time champions, the Netherlands, before defeating Chile 3-2 and stunning New Zealand also 3-2 to finish second in the group. The Speedy Tigers, however, failed to keep their momentum going and were prevented from advancing into the quarterfinals when they lost 3-4 in a sudden death penalty shootout to Spain, after both teams were tied at 2-2 in regulation time in the crossover match on Sunday. Then in the 9-16 placing classification match on Thursday, Malaysia again fell 6-3 to South Africa, thus dashing their hopes of a top 10 finish.
Memories of Shah Alam Stadium has been chosen as the theme of the Red Giants team's new jersey for the 2023 season. Selangor FC, in a statement through its official portal, said the main or home jersey was specially designed for the teams while making the Shah Alam Stadium the main source of inspiration in capturing all the history and beautiful memories throughout the 28 years of the stadium's existence.
Continuing the use of red as the main colour of this jersey in maintaining the symbol of courage, strength and high spirit of the team, this jersey also uses the colour of sand as the second hue, because sand is one of the components of concrete which forms the main foundation and facade of the Shah Alam Stadium. The statement read that the wave motif that is embossed on the jersey is based on the square pattern containing the word Selangor, taken from the supporters' seats at the Shah Alam Stadium, which is quite iconic among Selangor and Malaysian football fans. Selangor FC Chief Executive Officer Dr. Johan Kamal Hamidon in the same statement said, the selection of Shah Alam Stadium as the theme of the home jersey of the Red Giants this season is because it reflects the spirits of togetherness and strength shared among the supporters and the Selangor team thus far. The new jersey will be available at the Selangor Jersey Day ceremony at the SACC Mall, Shah Alam, and online at the official website selangorfc.com.
And with that, we end News at 10. Wrapping up with a reminder of our top story, food security and SME enhancement among priority in Budget 2023. Join us for more updates at 12:30 p.m. tomorrow. It's Lights Out. I'm Brendan Paul. Stay tuned to saluran Berita RTM and Salam Malaysia Madani. Take